Hello friends and welcome to Wooveboxing, the channel all about the Woovebox. I will be making a video like this for all sequencer pages, so if you don't want to miss the next one, consider hitting the subscribe button. Today we're going to go over the heart of the Woovebox, the sequencer page. The Woovebox is one of those products that could seem complicated when you see it on video, but is actually very easy to use. And hopefully I can show that today. So how do you access the sequencer? When you turn on the Woovebox, you will be in song mode. Actually, you'll see this because it loads song 1 by default. Today we're going to use song 3. The way you change songs is by holding the play button and pressing a track button. And we're now in song 3. To select a sequencer track, you hold down the encoder and press any of the track buttons. It works a little bit differently for 14, 15, and 16 because those are the sampler, live mode, and song mode. So you have to hold those down like this. But anyway, today we're going to start with the kick track. So I'm going to hold down the encoder, press the kick track, and we are now in the kick track. This shortcut works anywhere in the Woovebox. So let's say you're on oscillator 2 page and you want to hop to the chords track, you can do that. Bass track. Anyway, let's go back to the kick track. There are two ways to enter notes in the sequencer: step mode and live recording. To enter a kick, we're going to use step mode. So you hold right and then you press the steps where you want the kick to be. So now if I hit play, we have 4 on the floor. Now let's go to the snare track. Again, I'm going to hold down the encoder, press the snare track, and I'm going to use live record mode to enter the snare. So to do that, you hold right and press play, and you're now in live recording, and you can use both hands, which I like. I just need one for this though. If you want to pick a different snare, you can go to the last page, which is the patch page, and any one of those keys that is lit up is a patch. So you can just hold one down and it will be a different patch. However, I'm going to go with this kind of minimalist noise for this track. Next, let's add some chords. So I'm going to go to the chords track and let's see. Let's go with this. Great. So let's say I wanted to see what note these are. You can just long press and it will tell you, oh, that's a G major. So let's say I wanted this to be a G minor instead of a G major. Well, you can enter the per step menu and change that. So to do that, you hold down the step you want to change, and then you can press the encoder to go through the various options of things you can change. Right here it says chord, major. I'm going to go with minor, but there is a bunch of different things. We're going to go back to minor. All right, and I'll go over this menu later in the video. And you'll notice there's a little bit of sidechain on the track. I did that myself. I'll show how to do this in a different video. I'm going to hop to the bass track. Now, when I say I'm going to hop to the bass track, I'm following what it says on the panel here. But other than the chord track, these tracks can be anything you want. So if you want to have a lead on the snare track, you can do that. My bass track is set to follow the chord track according to the root. So I can't really hit a wrong note. I'm just going to pick, I don't really think it matters. I'm just going to pick this and we're going to go this. How about that? Very nice. And I want this to come in only on the 4th bar. So I'm going to get a little ahead of ourselves here and I'm going to go to the step menu. I'll talk about this in detail later, but right now I'm just going to tell this to play only on pattern 4. Actually, you know what? This is probably a good time to talk about the per step menu. So let me hop over to A1 and I'm going to solo it by hitting it twice. So now if I hit play, we don't hear any other tracks because this one is soloed. If I want to unsolo it, I can hold down the encoder and press the track button again. Let's solo it though. So let's just put in some tricks here. I'm just gonna... And let's say I want to make some changes. As you saw earlier, I can hold down a step and that accesses the per step menu. Click the encoder to change what parameter I'm gonna change. And then if you want to change that parameter, you just use the encoder. One thing that's cool is you can select more than one step. So let's say I want to change the velocity for, I don't know, half of these step. You just hold on right, and then you're going to hold a step down until it blinks. There you go. And now I can just press any other step. Now, when I change the parameter value, it will be for all of the blinking steps. So we've added a little bit of a groove to this in literally no time at all. As you saw earlier, you can change the note. This is very useful. The velocity. This is the length of a step. So let's say you have a step with a lot of sustain, you can have it be as long as you want. Very useful. Moving on, we have shift. This lets you nudge the step closer to the one to its right. Then we have the when and the do. That is probably my favorite feature on the Woovebox. And I know I keep saying that. I have a lot of favorite features on the Woovebox, but this is incredible. So when is when an action will happen. For instance, right now it says always. Now it says the first out of 2 bars, etc. You can go to pattern 2 or the 4th pattern. And this would be the 1st and the 3rd pattern. And then there's probabilities. So I absolutely love these and I use them all the time. Next is do. Do is what will the action be. Right now it just says play. What do we have in the do? We actually have a lot. There is a ton. I'm not going to go through everything in this video, but I will go through a couple of my favorites. So ones that I like, let's just initialize this real quick. By the way, how I did that is I held right, clicked the encoder, and now I am in the context menu. You click the encoder to change the setting, and if you want to select one, you press hold. So I'm going to say always. So on this one, I'm going to put a slide. This one's fun. It's the first one. It's just slide. And if you don't want it to happen all the time, you just use a when condition. So let's go to when, and let's say I want a 50% chance of firing. There you go. All right, I'm gonna set this one to 25. And then this one, let's go with octave up. I love that. So when we'll do, again, well, let's do this one every 2 bars. And then here we're gonna go to up 1 octave. All right, and for this one, let's go with a down octave. So we'll go to there you go, down. So now, and let's make it happen. Yeah, we'll go 50% again. Another one I like is the ratcheting. So let's go to, we'll say, yeah, play always, and then we'll put a ratchet on this one. And you just have to go all the way to the end. And let's go with X2. There you go. I'm sure you noticed that some of these have a dot. So that means that here it will play when there's that condition. And when there's not that condition, it will just play the normal step. But if you use the option with the dot, then if the condition is not met, then it just won't play at all. And I will leave a link in the description of all of the different options you have in those menus. All right, let's keep going with our track. I'm going to initialize this. All right, so for the ARP track, we're going to do something kind of cool. Because the ARP track is also following the chord progression, we are going to just set up one trig, and then we're going to go to the pattern page and make that track one step. So what do we get? Nice. Except, let's have this play not every time. Let's go with a 50%. I love doing things like this because it keeps the pattern fresh. All right, let's put some hi-hats down. And I'm gonna multi-select these and lower the velocity by a little bit. Let's do 75. There you go. Okay. Sounds good. And let's do some offbeat hi-hats. And let's make those a little bit louder. Nice. All right, to finish up, let's go to A2. I have a little chord stab here. We'll do this. And then nice. Let me try this pitched up just by... Yeah, I like that better. And now let's go to the lead track and I'm going to show something cool. Even though the patterns on Woovebox can only be 16 steps, you can link them and you can link them very easily. So let's do that now. I'm going to go to the pattern page and enter the context menu by holding right and clicking the encoder. And then I'm going to go to chain 4. Press and hold the encoder until I see OK. And now it just connected the next 3 patterns, so 4 patterns total, making a 64-step sequence. So as you can see, if you look here, it's going to say 1 and then 2, 3, 4. So let's do it. And I'm going to practice some jamming. Okay, cool. So I just realized that that's not going to be long enough. So I'm going to go back to the first pattern by holding play and pressing 1. And I'm going to go back to that menu. Oh, wait, no, that's in the pattern menu. Let's go here. And let's go chain 8. Okay, so now it should chain 8. Let's see. See, even though it's playing, I held right and pressed play. And now I'm going to be ready to record as soon as it comes around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. All right, and that is the end of this video. If you want more sequencing ideas, you can check out my pattern page tutorial. In the pattern page, there's a few options that allow for some very creative sequencing, so you can check that out if you want to. If you have any questions or would like to see something specific in the future, let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for being here, and ciao ciao!